Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of Think Your Way to an Epic Life. And today's guest, Amber Briggle, is the founder of Soma Massage Therapy. Now, it's a multi-award winning business, and it now generates over $1 million a year in revenue. And what makes her story so incredible is that Soma nearly closed down during COVID. Because let's be honest, you can't do massage from 6 feet away, and you certainly can't do it online. Instead of giving up, Amber rebuilt. She came back stronger than ever, and now she's franchising Soma across the country. Today, she's going to walk us through a 5 step roadmap that you can use if you've ever dreamed of scaling your business into a franchise. So get ready, take some notes, be prepared. This ought to really set you up for success. So, Amber, thank you so much for joining us on Think Your Way to an Epic Life.
I'm super excited to be here, Kara. Thanks for the invitation.
It is my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this. Like I said in the introduction, I'm just blown away by what you've accomplished. And
Same.
so yeah,
Same.
it's kind of shocking to look back and go, oh my gosh, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is step one that you've got as your steps to getting to where you are is people first always. And so
Absolutely.
you call Soma a people first business. And how did that approach help you grow quickly? And why is it essential for anyone who's listening to grow their businesses?
Yeah, I love that you're starting with that question because that's really the foundation of every business, right? Is the people. We've always been, I've just always been a helper with a great big heart and just always wanted to help people. That's the thing that called me to become a healer and a massage therapist is just wanting to just provide support for people. And so it just kind of organically kind of became just part of the DNA of my business because my business is so much a part of me. But every good business has really got to start with that people first model, that servant leadership model that my franchise coach talks about often, where that reverse pyramid, I guess, where it starts with you as the leader and goes up to the your staff, and then further up to the client. So if you take care of your people first, they're going to take care of the business. Conversely, if you are constantly chasing the profits, right, then I think you've lost sight of your brand and why it is that you got into the thing that you're doing, whether it's tech or service or medical or retail, whatever it is. You started your business because you had a passion and you wanted to provide that, drive that passion, that service, that product to people to help them, right? And so if you're constantly chasing the profit instead of focusing on the people that build the business, then the whole thing just kind of falls apart. You're cheapening your product. You are steamrolling your employees. They're feeling exploited. They're not feeling appreciated. They're going to bounce and go somewhere else. Then you're going to spend your time and your resources trying to hire and negotiate and train new people instead of focusing on your North Star. Like, how are we going to get to the next level? You're just trying to keep your head above water, right? And as you're treating your employees like crap, like just the money making machine that you want them to be, they're not providing the good customer service, or they're making mistakes with their product because, like, who the hell cares, right? Like, she's just in it for the money. Like, I can go somewhere else and make better money and be treated better, right? So if you treat your people, if you go into this mindset with a servant leadership model, a servant's heart, and you are treating your employees with respect and dignity and paying them a living wage and not riding their ass if they get sick and making sure that they've got plenty of time off. If you're taking care of your employees, they're going to take care of your clients, and the clients will take care of the business, and everything will just kind of fall into place. Plus, it's just kind of like, I mean, we're massage therapists. Like, it's literally our job to care for people. So why would I cheat people out of, cheapen their work, or, treat them like crap when, our job is really to support people, from the moment they walk in the door. And we even have a little bit of a sidebar, continuing talking about this people first model. We really want that care for both our employees and our clients to extend beyond our doors, because if we strive for our clients to be healthy and balanced and engaged, then they need to be living in that type of community. It can't just end the moment they get in their the moment they cross the threshold to get back in their car to go home. And so we do a lot of philanthropic work in the community. I've never really paid for a print ad. If I've got $500, I'm not going to run an ad in the paper. I'm going to give it to the PTA, right? Because like those are my people. Like if I can, be top of mind with them and buy the teachers some coffee or sponsor a table at their next fundraiser, right? Like that's going to support the community, which then in turn is going to be supporting our clients and so on. So we really look at a very, very holistic model. It's not just our clients, it's not just our therapists. We really try and care for the whole community. And when we support the community is going to support us in return.
That is such a beautiful answer. And
Thanks.
I could pick it apart because I've got so many questions within that. The biggest one, obviously, because I am a coach, is that you hired a franchise coach.
I did. Yeah.
How important has that been in your
Oh,
success?
it's been amazing. I mean, I'm so excited that we're franchising because at every step of my career, I've always just tried kind of scaling up to meet the needs of my clients. And I being a massage therapist myself, I only have so much time and energy in my hands every day. And when my books get as full as they did early in my career, I physically could not. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have. There's like no more time in the day to do this. So I hired another person whose work was similar enough to my own that it'd be an easy transition for my clients and I could continue to grow the business. Then she got busy and we moved out of my house and I hired more people. And then they got, and then I expanded and then COVID hit. And I know we're going to talk about that too. And I had to kind of start all over. But once we kind of reached capacity, I scaled up again. Well, now I have 2 locations. I've got a main studio close to downtown. It's got 7 treatment rooms. Then I've got a second location, which is just a satellite studio. It's 1 room and a chiropractic clinic. We are booked 90 to 100% every single day. And many days, even like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have a wait list. And so, the demand is there. And I thought about, I should open a 3rd location, maybe 20 minutes south so my clients don't have to drive quite so far north and really expand. But girl, that is so much work because now I'm managing 50 people instead of
Yeah.
25. I don't, girl, I'm 47 years old. I would like to take a nap and walk my dog once in a while. I don't want to be bouncing from, studio to studio to manage people. So I thought rather than investing the money and opening a second location with the build out and the, and the paint and the sheets and the industrial washer and dryer and the hiring and the computers, but why not invest that money in a franchise coach so that they can teach me not only how to franchise, but how to make the very solid model that I have in place even stronger so that we can duplicate this so that other people have the opportunity for wealth and success and financial security. You don't need a college degree to be a small business owner. You just gotta, and you don't even have to be a massage therapist to own a Soma Massage Therapy. You just gotta be driven and be able to communicate and know how to, hire great people and work through the process. And we've got a whole training system for that. But the last thing I'd want, Kara, because I know that there's people out there who will just take your money, give you your franchise disclosure document, your FDD, and be like, you're ready to go. And they
Good
send you
luck.
more. Yeah. And then they take like a percentage of every sale that you make. And, but you get to keep all the royalties. So this is good for you. You're going to make a ton of money, but they don't tell you how to support those franchisees. Right. And so you'll get to a point where you now have, I don't know, 3 or 10 or 20 franchises, and you don't know what the heck you're doing. And one by one, these people who have dropped their life savings into a franchise begin to have to close their businesses. You're on the hook for a lack of support. They're going to sue you. The whole thing's going to fall apart. And these schmucks over here who set you up for cheap with the FDD walk away with tens of thousands of dollars. I did not want that. I wanted this to be sustainable, just like my business. And so I shopped around, I vetted people, I found a fantastic coach at the Franchise Bible Coach. They've been amazing. I'm still working with them. We've got weekly calls, and they walked me through basically like a 9-month boot camp where I took all the knowledge of my head from being a massage therapist over the last 20 years and just pulled it out and put it down into an ops manual so that we can duplicate the success that we're seeing here in our 2 studios in Tulsa or Oklahoma City or Manhattan or St. Paul or Portland, like wherever it is. Like that's the beauty of franchising, right? Is that you can duplicate the success, studio after studio after studio, and many franchisees are multi-unit owners because, once you do it well in your first studio, you know what it takes to open the second, third, and fourth, right? And so I think I lost track of your question, but yes, I hired a franchise coach because I want to make sure that my franchisees are supported. And I know, you ask me any question about massage, you point to an area of your body and be like, what is this and why does it hurt? Like I know I can tell you everything about that. But when it comes to franchising, I had a lot to learn, and I recognize that, and this is a different world for me. So I wanted to make sure that I was prepared to be the strong leader to support my franchisees, so that again it can be a sustainable model. This really is people first, right? It's not about just me making a bunch of money, which I hope to do, but it's about creating wealth opportunities for franchisees and healing touch for people, across the country. We see probably 1,000 people a month between our two locations, right? And again, that second location is just one room. So we see about 1,000 people a month pretty much at the one location. Now imagine if we had 100 of these or 1,000 Soma massage therapists across the country, how many more opportunities that would be for people to find that financial security in their lives and create that healing touch for people across the country. And then again, bring that people first value to every community. So you're supporting your PTA and your local animal shelter and your CASA advocates and whatever it is, right? Like just the ripple effect that positive impact can have is really what led me to want to franchise. But I knew that I had a lot to learn, which is why I went with a franchise coach instead of just a cheap franchise broker. Then get me out there in the world. So yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant. And one of the things I just want to add before I hit you with my next question is massage therapists, dentists, realtors, plumbers, electricians, they're plumbers and electricians, they're not business owners. And so what you're
Right.
doing is that you're saving someone from having to learn all this stuff that they really don't care about. They're not really interested in.
Yeah.
They just want to do their job and be
Yeah.
profitable, and you're
Yeah.
showing them the ropes to do that. And
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you made some really bold choices, like no tipping policy.
Mm-hmm.
Walk us how you structured your business model and pricing so it could scale to $1 million a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you scale by making sure that you are keeping your books filled, right? You don't reach $1 million a year if you're only 50% booked, right? And like I said, we stay 90 to 100% booked. And we have systems in place that we share with our franchisees on how to book those last minute cancellations without, pissing off the client who unfortunately had to cancel for something because their kid was puking at preschool. Like, we're not going to charge you for that, but also we've got bills to pay. So how do you book that? So we've got systems in place to make sure that we're able to stay as booked as we are. But when it comes to the pricing, I mean, I've always wanted massage to be accessible. Like, we're not a spa. Like, when Soma, it really focuses a lot on the therapeutic, rehabilitative aspects of massage. We don't have that fluff and buff spa vibe. It still feels great because it's a massage, but we are different from like the spa at the resort where you walk in, they've got the cascading waterfall and you've got the fluffy robe and you can hang out all day in their steam room. Like, that's not us, right? So we're not going to be charging the rates that they charge at places like that because it's not an all day spa experience. Like, we want this to be accessible for as many people as possible. So it just, honestly, Kara, kind of came organically out of the work I was already doing as a massage therapist. And I want to be clear, like, I never really intended to be a massage therapist. Life just kind of led me down this path. Maybe that's a different podcast for a different day. And I certainly didn't intend on being a business owner and now a franchisor. But a lot of these policies that I have in place were just because that's kind of what I was already doing in my private practice, and it worked really well. So early in my career, I was working in Boulder, Colorado. That's where I went to massage school. That's where my husband was going to grad school. And in order to differentiate myself from everyone else, because everyone in Boulder is either a yoga instructor or a dog whisperer or a massage therapist, I had to kind of differentiate myself, right? I chose to have a no tipping policy. First off, I was completely self-employed, and so I knew exactly what I needed to make rent and keep the lights on. I've always seen this work as being really therapeutic in nature. And if you've never tipped your physical therapist or chiropractor, like, why would you be tipping me? It's kind of a similar modality. Like, I don't know if people tip their acupuncturists? I like probably not, right? So like, why would you be tipping your massage therapist? And then third, it set me apart. And I took away the stress factor from my clients. When I'm, elbow deep in their hamstrings, like getting rid of their sciatica, I don't want them balancing their checking account to figure out how much they can tip me because the work feels really good, but they can't really afford as much as they tipped last time. And is that going to make Amber feel, offended? And does that mean she's not going to treat me, like, am I not going to be one of her favorite clients and get, first dibs on her next opening? Like, I just stop it. Like, just be in the moment, right? Just be in the moment. And so that's kind of when I hired that friend to help me with my business, that's what my clients were used to. So therefore, that's what her clients had to get used to as well. And then we just kind of scaled from there. Now, a big benefit of that is that we have like fantastic client retention rates, fantastic, because we've I guess for lack of a better word, trained our clients on seeing massage as being like a regular part of your healthcare regimen, right? Like you go and see your chiropractor regularly, you get enough sleep regularly, you go to the gym regularly, right? And massage should be something more than just twice a year on your birthday and anniversary. Like you probably take your car to get an oil change more often than you get a massage. And you take your car in for that oil change so that it doesn't break down. Right. So why not do the same for your body? And so by encouraging our clients to think of this as being more healthcare focused, it brings them back. Like rather than seeing us twice a year, they'll see us once or twice a month. Like that's fantastic. That keeps us booked 90 to 100% of the time. It's also less stressful for my massage therapist. Now I do pay them more per massage than what almost any corporate massage place out there would pay because I'm making up that difference with our no tipping. But by paying them as well as I pay them and having 90 to 100% booked, their paycheck is pretty consistent, which takes away the stress of like, what if we don't get, what if we're not going to be booked this week? And what if my regular tippers don't tip me at all or as much as they normally do? Well, now you don't have gas to get to work and then everyone's stressed out, right? So I've really tried making, like I said, massage accessible, thinking about people first, thinking about it from like a medical rehabilitative aspect. And that is, and plus you also just have to keep in consideration where are you located too? Like what are other massage therapists in your area charging? You probably can't be charging twice as much or you're not going to get the business unless you're running that, super fancy spa, which I don't have the money to open, right? And that's also not who we are. That's not who we are as a company. So there's a lot of factors you kind of have to keep in mind, but the no tipping policy, I gotta say, is probably one of our most popular, I guess for lack of a better word, sort of selling points. When I'm introducing, at a Chamber of Commerce mixer who Soma is, and I mentioned this, people are like, what's this now? And you take HSA? This is amazing. And then for people who I meet at a party and they're like, oh, you own Soma. I love your no tipping policy. It takes all the stress out of it. So it really is one of our biggest sort of differentiating factors. And I've done a whole like webinar on like how to find your differential advantage to bring in your target market. You can find that on our YouTube channel. It's My Soma Massage. If people want to hear more about that, but that's how we determined that. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And I love the fact that your boundaries.
Yeah.
This is what I specialize in, and you're not
Mhm.
trying to be all things to all people.
You can't, that's right. You can't be everything. You can't be everything to everyone. You really got to like nail down who are you? What are your differential advantages? Now, your differential advantages will bring in your target market, but your target market will also help you kind of articulate what your differential advantage is. Like you'll find like what are their values and how can I put that into practice, but also what are my values and how can I attract the right clients and right employees to be a part of this as well. And I've done a whole, I'm doing a whole series on these here to help webinars on our YouTube channel. So I encourage people to go check that out there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got all of your links. So guys,
Great.
please, if you're vibing with Amber, just go click on her stuff and get to know more because she is being so free with this information. Thank you so much because
Yeah.
like instead of our listeners having to go through all the pain that you went through, they
Oh.
can learn from your mistakes, right? And go from there.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about franchising too, is like, look, like I've had a lot of learning opportunities in my 20-year career, right? I was doing this, I didn't intend, no one really grows up, what are you going to be when you grow up? Like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher. Like, no one's like, I'm going to be a massage therapist. And I'd already gone to a 4-year school and I'd already graduated. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just kind of fell forwards into this, right? And so I had to kind of figure it out, like how to be a solo practitioner as a massage therapist. And then as I continued to scale, I had to kind of keep putting out fires and anticipating problems before they became problems. Some problems I never anticipated, and then they became bigger problems. But the great thing about franchising is that you don't have to go through those as many learning moments as I've gone through because the franchisor has walked this. In my case, it's been 2 decades, right? And so I know what doesn't work and I know what works. So you don't have to make it up on your own. You are supported every step of the way. If you've got a problem, you pick up the phone and you call that support line. And it's probably, if you're doing, ground floor opportunity like we're offering here at Soma, you pick up the phone, you're probably gonna be talking directly to me. And I'm going to, walk you through how to put out that fire or how to avoid that fire starting in the first place. I wish I would have known about franchising much earlier in my career. I probably would have hopped on that bandwagon, but I just kind of kept falling forward accidentally into these opportunities. And here I am now, and I'm really excited to share what I've learned with our franchisees as they come on board.
That's beautiful. And I believe everything happens for a reason and in the time.
Mhm.
And if you had been able to franchise, you would have had to shut down all of them
Whew.
during
Yeah, during
COVID,
COVID,
right?
that's true. That is true. Yep,
Right.
that's
So let's
true.
go
Yeah.
there. I mean, you had to shut down. Your world was going beautifully. You were making money. You
I
were
was looking for
pleasing
a third
people.
location. It was
You were
great.
looking
Yeah.
for a third location. Life was
Yeah.
going great. And then,
Mhm.
bam, you got slapped down.
Mm.
What gave you okay, so when you went to go rebuild, which systems or standards became non-negotiable? Like this
Yeah.
is, we have to do these things. And how can our listeners implement those in their own business?
My non-negotiable standards as I'm rebuilding. Well, first you had to decide whether or not it was right to rebuild. And I'm sure that you've got lots of listeners who they tried, they just couldn't. Sometimes you just got to recognize when to throw in the towel. And there's absolutely no judgment. Like we were all just trying to get toilet paper and get through the day, right? And so for those of you who are listening and you had to close your businesses like I am, my heart hurts for you and no judgment. You did what you had to do. There were many massage places that had to close because you can't do, as you said, at the top, you can't do massage from 6 feet apart. You can't do it virtually. There's no curbside delivery. Like we show up at your house, we still got to touch you like that. It, but I was determined, Kara, like I saw this situation. Now it took me a while to figure out how to pivot because we don't have products to sell. We don't even do facials. Like I didn't have even like moisturizer I could sell you, right? So it took me a while to figure out how we were going to pivot, but I was determined. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. None of this is on me. None of this is my fault. I didn't screw up, and make a bad legal or ethical or bad financial decision. This is beyond my control. It's a once in a century pandemic. And it's my job to make sure that my clients and my employees have a place to come back to on the other side of this. I'd worked too damn hard to just throw in the towel. And so the things that were non-negotiable, safety, first and foremost, like people, I mean, you're touching naked people all day. You should make an effort to make them feel safe, right? You should have practices and policies and procedures in place to keep your your clients and also your employees safe. And people can read more about that on our blog at mysomamassage.com/safety. We wrote it all out for you, right? Safety. Secondly, it was during COVID and we all felt scared. So we wanted to feel safe. And so as we were reopening, I was very transparent in our social media posts and in our newsletters. This is what we're doing, right? I'm in Texas and masks were, I mean, across the country, but especially in Texas, masks were controversial. I'm like, non-negotiable, non-negotiable, because that's what we knew at the time. What the CDC was telling us was masks kept you safe. I cannot keep 6 feet apart, right? And in order to keep us safe and you safe, everyone's going to have a mask. And if you don't want to have a mask on, then we're not going to serve you. Full stop. Full stop. And Kara, girl, people would buy packages, whole ass packages during when we were closed, so that when we reopened, they, like we had the money to keep paying the bills until we could reopen, and then we reopen and they could come in for their packages, and they'd walk in and they're pulling their mask around or they're not wearing a mask at all. Like, I work in healthcare and I know better than you. And I'm like, there's the door. And I would have to issue them a refund, and it sucked. It sucked so bad, but I was not going to compromise on that safety factor. Full stop. We did have options for people who didn't. When you turn face down, that's really constricting to have a mask over your face, right? And so what we did is it's brilliant actually. We took a pillowcase and draped it through the face cradle so that it hung down like a cloth sack, so they could remove their mask when they were face down, but they were still breathing into cloth, right? And so for people who refuse to wear a mask, we're like, well, you can lay face down, but you're going to have a pillowcase in your face. Some people were okay with that and some people weren't. So safety first and foremost. I was very transparent about what was and was not okay. I spent all this money on a air scrubber. I mean, I was like, I'm not compromising on safety. I wanted to make sure that my therapist, as hard as this was, again, being people first, 85% of massage therapists are women. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners understand the strains that were put on our careers during COVID, because unfortunately in 2025, still, women earn less than men. And if someone's got to give up their career to make sure that the kids are logging in at home because there's no school and there's no daycare and there's no babysitters and grandma can't come over because she's medically fragile, right? Unfortunately, it's usually the mom who's got to give up, her career and take care of the kids. And so as challenging as it was, and as much as it killed me when a therapist would have to call in, I recognize like we're all just doing our best, and I am not going to give them a hard time because, their kid needs a thing or this other thing got canceled. Like, you got to call in, like, family's always going to come first. And then I'd get on the phone and I'd, call my clients and I'd, get them rescheduled, right? And the third thing is I really wanted to make sure that our clients knew that we were there for them when they were ready to come back. There were a lot of clients who were just like, girl, I am ready. I am so stressed. My lymphedema has been acting up and no one's touched me in, months, and I'm ready. I can see the work that you're putting in to keep us safe. I'm ready to go. But other clients were like, I'm gonna wait and see how it goes, right? And making sure that the clients came in, they understood our safety procedures, right? Making sure that my therapist felt supported, at work and when they went home, right? And then making sure that the clients who were not quite ready to come back, they knew that we were here for them in the meantime. And I had created during our closure, I know I said I can't do massage virtually, but I created a virtual massage studio, basically with like a series of self-care videos of like how to unclench your jaw, like acupressure points for migraines, DIY reflexology to help with your hip pain, self-massage, massage with a partner, aromatherapy oils that can help with XYZ. And so, I would just continue to put out these videos even after we open, like, hey, we know you might not be ready to come in and see us. Here's something you can utilize anyway, because everyone, where were we? We're all online, we're all scrolling, right? And it reminded our clients that, massage is healthcare. It reminded them that we're still here. And it also reached out to a bunch of people who had never heard of us before, who then, either, trusted us because we were putting in the effort, or maybe their massage studio closed, or a lot of people bounced from other massage studios that were chasing the dollar instead of caring for the people, right? And they weren't fully sanitizing, and they weren't requiring masks, and they weren't like whatever it was. They just wanted to make as much money as quickly as possible because had been closed for so
Right.
long, right? And so, their clients didn't feel safe in that situation, but they could see the effort that we were putting in and came to see us. So, those were kind of the three sort of like leading things I think that gave, really, those were always our values, but really just kind of cementing them and putting them in action and making them more transparent to the world, I think really strengthened us as we continued to rebuild post-COVID.
Beautiful. Okay, so for our listeners, step one was people first always.
Always.
Step two was business model and money. Step three was systems and standards we just went through.
Mhm.
Step four, we've got 5 steps total. Step four is from crisis to comeback. So after COVID forced you to shut down, you managed to reopen in a bigger space with
Oh, yeah.
more staff,
Uh-huh.
higher revenue. What were the first 3 levers that you had to pull to make all that happen?
Um, can I just repeat my last answer? I mean, it's, because that's just it's just rinse and repeat. That's just what I kept doing. It's just what I did. I'm like, we're going to keep our people safe. Not a single person's going to get COVID on my watch. We're going to, we're going to show people that we care about them. Right. And if we have to cancel their session for the fourth time in 6 months because someone got sick, that's what we're going to do. Right. So like I cannot have someone who's sick coming into work touching people. That is how the contagion continues to spread, and I was tired of it. So I mean, you just rinse and repeat. Just
Yeah.
keep focused on that North Star. Where are you going? My North Star wasn't necessarily franchising. Again, like I kind of stumbled into all of this, but my North Star has always been how can I care for as many people as possible without going crazy? And that means scaling up sustainably and surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and believe in your mission and believe in that North Star and want to be on that journey with you. They're not going to undermine you or sabotage you, right? They're fully on board. You don't have to convince them that this is the right thing. They know it. And so I just kept assembling really brilliant massage therapists who are exceptionally talented, many of whom are still with me 5 years later, which is like unheard of in this industry, right? I kept adding to my support staff. I now have a general manager so that I can be the franchisor and not do the daily HR stuff that I don't like doing anyway. And yeah, just rinse and repeat. I just really stayed focused, and I guess I was just really reassured because I could see it was working, right? Like not compromising on my values brought the right kind of people to Soma Massage Therapy, which then made my job easier, right? I could see the growth was there. We now gross well over $1 million a year. We're now franchising. The opportunities are there, and I just, I kind of looked at this a couple of years ago, and I was like, how can I do this again? But without, adding that third, fourth, fifth, 20th location without myself having to put in all that work. And that's when I invested, as I said earlier, on that franchise coach so I can, create these opportunities for other people who also believe in what we're doing and want to, have these opportunities for wealth and healing touch in their communities as well. And I do want to point out too, I mean, y'all don't have to be a massage therapist to own a Soma Massage Therapy, right? Like the person who owns, the lube oil filter place is almost certainly not a mechanic, right? The person who owns the AT&T store, I don't know, are AT&T stores franchises or what? Maybe they're not. The cell phone store, whatever. Like they're probably not a tech person, right? Like, so you don't have to be a massage therapist to own a Soma Massage Therapy. You just got to be a hard worker, interested in wellness, and believe in, what it is that we're doing here already. If this resonates with you, you're probably perfect for the job, right? So just want to put that in there. I think there's been, I think people get confused when they hear that I've been a massage therapist for 20 years and now I'm franchising. They probably think that they have to be a massage therapist as well. In fact, it's probably better if you're not, because if one of your massage therapists calls out sick, you as the business owner are probably going to feel compelled to cover that session instead of working on hiring and working on marketing. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely. And guys, hang in there. We got step 5, and then we've got a real special deal for anybody who is interested. So, step 5, our final step, is franchise readiness. So, how does a founder, I know, of course, we want to know how you knew, but how does a founder who has the electricity company, the electrical contractor company, how do they know when they're ready to franchise? And what about their numbers and the systems and all that stuff do they need to know before they take that leap?
Gosh, I mean, I'm not a franchise coach, so I don't know if there's like a formula or a checklist. I mean, I think typically you'd want to have maybe a second or third location so you can see that you're able to duplicate the success beyond just your test kitchen. That is kind of my case because I had a second location, but also it's like I said, just a satellite office. It's one solitary room in a, in a chiropractic clinic. So it wasn't quite my case, but also it kind of was. You want to be able to see that you're turning a profit, right? You definitely want to have strong leadership. That's what my coach talks about all the time. He's like, you could have a great product and a crap leader, and it's not going to go anywhere. Or you could have a mediocre product and a great leader, and you've got something to work with, right? So, but I'm not a franchise coach. That would be a fantastic, you could do probably a whole podcast just on that and invite a podcast coach on to talk about that. For myself, I knew we were ready when, okay, here's the story. Here's the real story. I went on vacation in 2023 to the Olympic Peninsula, which is probably the prettiest place on earth. And I've never been on a vacation before where I was constantly pulling up Zillow to find out how much it costs to buy that house and that zip code. And I was like, how do I move here? Because I'm a small business owner. I can't transfer to another Soma Massage Therapy in Tacoma, right? Like it doesn't exist. And I am 47 years old. I don't want to build another Soma Massage Therapy in Tacoma. That's nonsense. I don't want to do that. Someone else can do that. So I talked to the trees, as one does when you're in the Olympic Peninsula, because they go up forever and they're well connected. And I was like, can y'all figure out how can I live with you? And then I came back and there happened to be a text message in my inbox from someone who wanted to, help me franchise. And he was just some guy in a cubicle in Miami who was the wrong kind of franchise. Basically, broker is not the right word, but someone who was just going to sell me the cheap FDD. But it got me thinking, maybe I've got something here because I can see that this is successful. I can see, I mean, we just keep this forward momentum going, but I'm at capacity at both of my locations. How do I do this? How do I scale up to heal as many people as possible without going crazy? And I was like, maybe franchising is the answer. And that's when I started vetting, franchise coaches and consulting firms to help me kind of scale up. So I just kind of had a gut feeling like if we were able to post COVID, so we had closed 2 months later, we had reopened, but the 14 months after we had closed, we reopened in this gorgeous space that we're at now, downtown, right? We've since added that extra location. Within, I can't remember if it was 2022 or 2023, we were already grossing $1 million a year, right? And that is post-COVID, and there was still a lot of COVID in there, right? Like, remember like Delta and Omicron and like all those variants that we still had to get through, right? There was still, and we kept thriving. And had you told me the night that we had closed our doors, March of 2020, that this is where we'd be at now, I would have laughed in your face. Like I thought I was gonna lose my house. Everything was falling apart. And for us to be at this moment now is a testament to my own home, to my leadership and my vision. But really the model, this brand that I've built with this incredible team alongside me, like this is a winning model. Like, I'm so excited as we franchise coast to coast to bring this highly successful model to communities everywhere to heal as many people as possible. Like there's something real special, and we're doing it so different than so many other massage places. I mean, we talked about our no tipping policy. We talked about our people first policy. We talked about our safety procedures. We take HSA and flex. You get a full 60 minutes. You're not going to get shortchanged. You get ample time to check in with your therapist and let them know what it is you're working on, which is going to make your session better. And it's going to make the massage therapist feel far more educated and empowered to provide that care to you, right? Like I could go on and on and on. Like we're doing it so different than so many. And I'm so excited to become like Soma Massage Therapy is going to be the gold standard for massage. And we're going to, transform this industry, town by town. And people are going to see massage not as being part of the service industry, but as a part of your regular healthcare routine. And just what a great service that could be to the entire industry and massage therapists across the country when they're viewed as being healers and not just, someone who does your hair and nails and brings you a drink, right? Like we're healthcare workers. We're not, service industry. So I'm thrilled. I'm super excited to be in this moment.
Me too. I'm happy to
Yeah.
get to be here with you. So, what is the big surprise that you have for anyone who is interested, who's watched this?
Yeah. So again, like you don't have to be a massage therapist to own a Soma Massage Therapy. Absolutely. Like I am here to teach you what you need to know to own a business and do a good job at it, right? So if this has resonated with you, we would love to talk with you. We are offering a discount on our first handful of franchisees. You can learn more about that at mysomamassage.com/franchise. And Soma is short for somatic, SOMA, mysomamassage.com/franchise. You can read all about our franchise opportunities. If this isn't right for you, but you know someone who would totally nail this. Like someone is just sick of their loser boss and they are ready to just branch off and do their own thing. Someone, is maybe they got fired by Doge, as many people have been, and they want to have a little more destiny and a little more a little control over their own destiny. If you introduce them to me and they become a Soma franchisee in the future, then you, for making that introduction, will then get either $1,000 cash or a year of free massages, which is pretty great. So think about who in your community, might be pretty good at this. Maybe they need a little more flexibility in their schedule. Maybe they're ready to branch off. Maybe they want to, expand their portfolio. And there's always financing options. Not everyone's got the money laying around that they can just drop on a franchise. But there's always, I mean, you finance a wedding, you finance a dental work, you finance a motorcycle, right? Like you can certainly finance a small business as well. And so, don't let money be the factor that stops you from achieving your dreams. Because if you want it bad enough, you can always find a way. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so with everything you've been through a ton. What are you most proud of?
I'm super proud that Soma didn't fail. I'm
Yeah.
super it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And I'm really, really proud of where we're at today and where we're going. Super proud of that. I'm really proud of my self-care. I established some really bad habits during COVID. I was eating my feelings and drinking probably half a bottle of wine every night. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate. We had a lot of that stimulus money and nowhere to go, right? And I put on a lot of weight and wasn't sleeping great and would wake up stressed out and not hungover, but kind of sticky, which is going to make me far more snappable because I'm not hydrated, I'm not rested. And so a learning opportunity lands in my face and I freak out, right? Which is going to lead me to more cheese and cookies and wine, right? And I established some really bad habits. And at the start of 2025, I was like, that's enough. This cannot continue. And I lost a bunch of weight. I am amply hydrated. I'm eating. I actually, what I do is I actually set an alarm on my phone because I get so busy and it goes off every couple of hours and it just reminds me to just get up, fill up your water, stretch your legs, let the dog out, make a quick snack and get back to it, right? People take cigarette breaks all day. I'm, I'm taking self-care breaks, and it's made me a much better person. Like I can handle stress a lot better than I ever have before. In fact, our tagline, when you go to our website, mysomamassage.com, you'll see right there, self-care is how you get your power back. And I get it now. I get it.
I
So
get it now too, and it
yeah,
is something that most people don't get at all. They
yeah,
literally, especially women, we were
yeah.
programmed to
Ooh,
put
yeah.
everyone else first.
Yes.
When you put yourself first, what happens to your relationships with others?
Oh, for real. I am so much more balanced and focused and clear-headed, and I just get so much more done. Yeah, it is unfortunately a radical concept, I think, for a lot of people, women especially.
Mhm.
But just set an alarm on your phone. In fact, my alarm's going to go off in about 45 minutes. And it's going to, 24 minutes and 43 seconds, actually. And it's going to remind me to go get a snack. And when you start putting yourself, I I admit I can't say that I'm top of my priority list. I wish I could say that, but I've definitely moved up several ranks since I've started adopting this, and I'm really very proud of that. Um, and then the last thing, last but not least, like my kids, like, can we just do a podcast just on my kids? Like, they are so outstanding. I've got a son who's in 12th grade. He's looking at going to college in Ireland. And my daughter who's in 8th grade is looking at becoming a pediatric surgeon. And like, she's like, Mom, this is the year when I'm really going to buckle down and like really establish some really good study habits so that when I get to high school, my transcripts look good. Like she's been doing all these college tours with her brother. And so she's kind of seeing what it's going to take, right? Like my kids are amazing and definitely the very best, proudest things in my life for sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am so not surprised with
Yeah.
leadership like you. For a mom, my gosh, yeah,
They're pretty awesome. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I have enjoyed our time so immensely.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you for the opportunity. I love the conversation.
Yeah, me too. And you keep on doing it. And guys, please, let me just tell you, as someone who has owned multiple businesses, I have not had a W-2 paycheck in, I don't know, probably 40 years. To have someone to hold your hand through it, to
Mhm.
have the systems already in place, I want you just for a second, guys, to think about what it is you're really good at. And now imagine I wanted to go do whatever it is you're really good at, yet I could hire you to help me and train me. How much quicker would I become as good or better than you because of your help? Right. So think of it that way, and just give her a call. She doesn't bite very hard.
Thanks, Kara. This was a delight.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.